Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most essential components of modern web design, a responsive navbar. Whether you're building a portfolio, a blog, or an e-commerce site, a navbar is a must-have. In this video, I'll show you how to create a fully responsive navbar using just HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript. Let's get started. First, we create index.html, style.css, and script.js file. In the HTML code, first, we have linked our style sheet file in the head tag. Then under the body tag, we'll use the header tag to define the header section of our website. This is where all our header content will go. And under this header tag, we have created div class name header container to keep everything organized. Inside the header container, we'll add a div class name logo. We'll use an img tag inside anchor tag to display the logo image and make it clickable. Next, we'll add a menu toggle button. Create a div with class name menu toggle btn. Inside it, we'll use an span tag with class name line and line 1. Then we will make copy of this span tag 2 times and add line 2 and line 3 inside class respectively to show the menu line. Next, we will create an div with class name navbar. Inside this, we create 2 div with class name navwrap and header button. Inside navwrap, we create ul tag with class name nav. Then inside ul tag, we create li tag with anchor tag. Now let's create button. Inside div class name header button, we create a div with class name header button wrapper, and then inside create anchor tag. Now our HTML structure is ready. Let's style with CSS. Before we start styling, it's important to reset default browser styles to ensure consistency across all browsers. This removes all default margins and paddings, sets the box sizing to border box for easier sizing, and applies a clean sans serif font. Now, let's style the header. We'll make it sticky, so it stays at the top of the page when users scroll. This gives the header a fixed height, a white background, and ensures it stays on top of other content with a high z-index. This turns the header container into a flex container, which is like a flexible box that arranges its children, the logo and navigation, in a row by default. Flexbox is a powerful layout tool that makes it easy to align and space items dynamically. No more fighting with floats or margins. The logo is given a specific width 14% and height 100%. So it takes up a portion of the header. Padding left 20 pixel, add some space on the left to keep it from hugging the edge of the screen. The tag inside the logo is set to display flex to ensure the image inside it is centered and aligned properly. The img is set to height 80 pixel and object fit contain to make sure it scales nicely without distortion. Object fit contain ensures the image fits within the container while maintaining its aspect ratio. This is the container for the entire navigation bar. Display flex turns it into a flex container, allowing its child elements, like the navigation links, to be aligned and spaced dynamically. Width 86% ensures it takes up 86% of the header's width, leaving space for the logo. Height 80px matches the height of the header, making it consistent. Padding right 20px adds some space on the right to prevent the navigation from touching the edge of the screen. This is a wrapper inside the navbar that contains the navigation links. Width 80% ensures it takes up 80% of the navbar's width, leaving space for other elements, like buttons. Height 80px matches the height of the header, ensuring consistency. This is the container for the navigation links, li elements. Display flex turns it into a flex container, allowing the links to be arranged in a row. Height 100% and width 100% ensure it takes up the full height and width of its parent, navwrap. Justify content flex end pushes the navigation links to the right side of the container. This is useful for aligning the links to the end of the header. This styles each list item li inside the nav container. Margin 0, 20.5px, 0, 21.5px adds horizontal spacing between the navigation links. The left and right margins are slightly different to fine-tune the spacing. List style none removes the default bullet points from the list items. Position relative allows for potential positioning of child elements, like drop-downs, in the future. Display flex and align items center ensure the links are vertically centered within the navigation bar. Height 100% makes each list item take up the full height of the NAV container. This styles the anchor tags, inside each list item. These are the actual clickable navigation links. Line height 90px ensures the text is vertically centered within the navigation bar. This is especially useful because the links are taller than the text itself. Text decoration none removes the default underline from the links. Color sets the text color to a sophisticated dark blue-gray. Font weight 500 makes the text slightly bold for better readability. Font size 18px sets a comfortable size for the navigation links. This is the container for the button in the header. Width 20% ensures it takes up 20% of the navbar's width, leaving the remaining 80% for the navigation links. This is a wrapper inside the header button that contains the actual button. Display flex turns it into a flex container, allowing the button to be aligned and centered. Justify content flex end pushes the button to the right side of the container. Height 100% ensures it takes up the full height of the header button. Align items center vertically centers the button within the container. This styles the button itself, an anchor tag A. Text decoration none removes the default underline. Border 2px solid adds a solid border around the button. The color isn't specified here, so it inherits the text color. Padding 15px, 8px adds space inside the button, making it more clickable and visually appealing. Color sets the text color to match the navigation links. Position relative allows for potential positioning of child elements, like icons, in the future. Now let's make it responsive using Media Query. When the screen width is less than 768px, the layout transforms. This creates the hamburger menu button that will replace the traditional navigation bar on smaller screens. Width 40px, height 40px sets the size of the button. Display flex makes it a flex container, which helps with alignment. Position relative allows for positioning of the lines inside the button. Transform rotate 0 degree ensures the button starts in its default state, not rotated. Transition 0.5s ease in out adds a smooth animation when the button changes states. Cursor pointer changes the cursor to a pointer when hovering over the button, indicating it's clickable. Margin right 20px adds space to the right of the button to prevent it from touching the edge of the screen. This styles the three lines that make up the hamburger icon. Width 100% makes each line span the full width of the button. Height for px sets the thickness of the lines. Background color gives the lines a dark blue-gray color. Position absolute allows the lines to be positioned precisely within the button. Transform rotate 0 degree ensures the lines start in their default state, not rotated. Transition 0.25s ease in out adds a smooth animation when the lines change states. These classes position the three lines inside the hamburger button. Line 1 is positioned at the top of the button. Line 2 is positioned 18px from the top, which is roughly the middle of the button. Line 3 is positioned at the bottom of the button. Together, these lines form the classic hamburger icon. This adjusts the layout of the header for smaller screens. Justify content space between spaces out the logo and hamburger button, pushing them to opposite ends of the header. Flex wrap allows the header elements to wrap to the next line if needed. Align items center vertically centers the elements within the header. This hides the header button on smaller screens to save space and simplify the layout. Display none removes the button from the layout entirely. This collapses the navigation bar into a hidden state by default. Background color ensures the navigation bar has a white background. Width 100% makes it span the full width of the screen. Height 0 hides the navigation bar by setting its height to 0. Padding right 0 removes any padding on the right. Overflow hidden ensures the content inside the navigation bar is hidden when it's collapsed. Transition height 0.5s ease in out adds a smooth animation when the navigation bar expands or collapses. When the hamburger menu is clicked and the active menu class is added, the navigation bar expands. Height. For 100px, sets the height of the navigation bar, making it visible and revealing the navigation links. These rules style the navigation links for mobile devices. NAV changes the layout of the navigation links to a vertical column flex direction column and aligns them to the top justify content flex start. NAV removes the fixed height from the list items, allowing them to take up only as much space as needed. NAV styles the links. Width, 100%, makes each link span the full width of the navigation bar. Line height, 50px, ensures the text is vertically centered within each link. Font size, 22px, makes the text larger for easier tapping on mobile devices. Cursor, pointer, changes the cursor to a pointer when hovering over the links. NAV not last child adds a border between each link, except for the last one, to visually separate them. When the hamburger menu is clicked and the open class is added, the 3 lines animate into an X. Line 1 moves to the middle and rotates 135 degrees, forming one part of the X. Line 2 fades out, opacity, 0, and moves to the left, minus 60px, effectively disappearing. Line 3 moves to the middle and rotates minus 135 degrees, forming the other part of the X. This creates a smooth and visually appealing animation. Now let's check responsiveness of the navbar and see how it looks on large screen and small screen. Now the CSS part is done. Let's move to JS to make hamburger menu functional.
Before diving into the JavaScript code, it's important to ensure that the script is properly linked in the HTML file. This is typically done by placing the script tag just before the closing body tag. This ensures that the HTML content is fully loaded before the JavaScript runs. Document.querySelector.menu toggle btn selects the first element in the document with the class menu toggle btn. This element is stored in the menu toggle btn variable for later use. An event listener is added to the menu toggle btn element. The event being listened for is the click event, which occurs when the user clicks the button. When the button is clicked, the arrow function is executed. Inside the event listener, the navigation bar is selected using its class name Navbar. This element is stored in the navbar variable. The classlist.toggle method is used to add or remove the active menu class on the navbar element. If the active menu class is not present, it adds it. If it is already present, it removes it. This is commonly used to show or hide a navigation menu in response to user interaction. Similarly, the classlist.toggle method is used to add or remove the open class on the menu toggle btn element. This can be used to change the appearance of the button. Example, transforming a hamburger icon into a close icon. The script toggles the visibility of a navigation menu and the appearance of a button when clicked. And that's how you create a responsive navbar using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more web development content, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding!